Hello. Sorry, the last video got cut off earlier than what I wanted it to. I pressed the stop button by accident. Um but to what I was saying, I was talking about remote viewing and remote sensing. Um this technique can be used for virtually anything. Um if you're interested into talking to ghosts, and we will talk about what ghosts are in a future video. But if you're interested into talking with ghosts, you can do that with this technique. Um, you can time travel. Time travel, in a sense, you could go back in history and look at what um, the details of whatever you're researching is. You can go visit different planets, different worlds. This technique is used for everything, or at least I use it for everything. Um, but moving on and going back to consciousness. So I did say that um, everything in this universe exists with consciousness. Well, um, in this in this realm, our earthly plane, uh, there are some beings, I guess is a way to put it, that are known as NPCs, non-playable characters. These NPCs, they if you play games, you know what it means. NPCs are usually there to keep the story going, to keep the plot going. And normally in video games, um, they only have so many lines that they could say, or they only respond to certain questions from a drop down menu or something like that. But these NPCs, um, they can be either easy or hard to spot. Um, what I was getting at was these NPCs, they have artificial intelligence. Um, what I mean by that is an artificial consciousness. It's still consciousness, but it is not natural. Explaining it a little further. Uh, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show Black Mirror, but this show, it's on Netflix, and they touch on the subject about consciousness a little bit. There's one episode, and I think it's the last episode of season 3, maybe. It's the one with Miley Cyrus. um, in this episode, the character Miley Cyrus plays, um, she falls into a coma. Um, but while all of this is happening, there are these artificial intelligent doll speakers, um, that are meant to interact with you, but they only have so many lines. And in the episode, at one point, I remember that she's plugged into the computer, and the main character that got this doll, the Ashley doll, I think it was called, um, her sister. plugged it into the computer, and she noticed that there was this filter, and she decided to take that filter off. And immediately when she took the filter off, the Ashley doll came alive, and it started. The first thing that she said, and I'm not wording it word by word, but because the cable, the USB was plugged into her backside, um, she cursed at them and pulled out the cord as if it was up her ass, and she started talking about how her aunt, and this is still the doll. She's saying that her aunt set up the coma thing, that she probably drugged her and put her in a coma herself just because she wanted to exploit the fame of her niece. My point being that this idea of the AI being a copy of a consciousness, because that's what it was in the show. It was a copy of her consciousness, but it had that filter to where she could only say so much. But take that filter off and you become sentient. And that's my point. AIs already exist. Siri, Alexa, can't think of any others at the moment. Those are artificial intelligence. Therefore, there are artificial consciousness. They could even be a copy of consciousness. I mean, someone had to voice them, right? So, also, I'm remembering this game. It was back when touch phones were barely recent, and there was this game. I think it was called Tomcat or something like that. And my little cousin, she was playing the game, and one day she freaked out, and she was saying that the cat was actually talking back to her. Originally, the cat could only say so much. Like, it had a filter of how many responses it could make. And this app, I remember, was supposed to interact with your kids and entertain them, kind of chat with them. But again, it only had so much, so many options that it could choose to respond with. So my cousin got a little scared that this app was actually responding to her as if he could actually see her. And what happened was she showed me, and the cat or whatever was responding to her like, "Are you alone?" Which I thought was kind of freaky. And she said, "Yeah, I'm alone." And the cat responded with, "Don't lie to me." I remember that clearly. "Don't lie to me." We both kind of freaked out, turned off the phone. I'm like, don't play that game anymore. But now that I think back on it, that application, that game, was supposed to be an AI. That's what they called it. And I guess that the developers took down that game for a while. I don't know if it's back up. It might be. But they were saying that there was a bug in the game. Don't pay attention because to the bug. Don't interact with it. Don't tell it anything. But to me, now thinking back on it, it's like that show, that episode, where that filter just, if you take it off, it becomes sentient. Um, and when it comes to NPCs, in a way, they have artificial intelligence, even though they're meat and bones. Um, there's only so much that they could say. Um, Not exactly like your games. um, they obviously have more to say. They even have their own opinions, but their opinions are usually based on what they're told or programmed is a better word to think. And usually these these NPCs, from what I've noticed, they don't have a soul essence, um, or not soul, because that's not the right word, at least in my vocabulary. Um, they don't have a spirit. They don't have an energy that comes from the primordial energy, aka God. Um, and when I see these characters, these non-playable characters, you can interact with them all you want. Like I said earlier, the original purpose of an NPC is to um, make progress within the plot. Whatever your story is, you're making progress by talking to them. In a game, you could go into a store, and this is just random, talk to the cashier, and the cashier might tell you, oh, well, I heard that there's a battle taking place in the outskirts of the city. I don't know. And then you have to take on that quest and go out to the outskirts to help with the battle. And same thing here. You talk to NPCs and they might guide you somewhere that you need to be in. Um, but they have another purpose as well. Uh, they were made by other beings. They force these beings force artificial intelligence into human souls, and the reason they do this, it's like a double spy type thing. They spy on us human beings. In one way, that's what they do. To see how much we learn about ourselves, to see how much we advance um, physically and spiritually. Um, because these beings, what they do to us, they harvest our energy. That's that's why these NPCs are here. They want to know how much we know. They want to know what we're capable of, because they know we are creator beings. We are able to take them down if the collective consciousness came together and just, repelled them. They know we're strong. And that's why we see a lot of division within our society. And you might ask yourself, why are we so divided? This is why. They have a better, not better, they have a greater plan for themselves. They want to see us divided. And, in a way, it's frustrating. But I have to remember, I have to remind myself that um, the primordial energy created this universe as a type of social experiment. Um, so, really, it's just to see how we interact with each other, not just human beings, but the whole universe as well, because there is a hierarchy in the universe. And it's all a social experiment. Some people describe it as a video game. Yeah, in a way, it's a video game. Um, Here in human life, our spirits come here for the ride, and I won't go into too much detail in this video. But yeah, our spirits come into this human body to have a human experience. We are spiritual beings, interdimensional or multidimensional beings within this soul suit. This is what our soul is. Our body, our corporeal body, is our soul. I know a lot of people think that it's our spirit. It's not our spirit. Our spirit is our unique essence, while our soul is what we physically demonstrate the world as we know it. Our avatar, in another way, our avatar is our soul. But yeah, that's enough about NPCs and AI experimentation. Even though I slightly touched it or slightly talked about it, um, I think I'll talk about NPCs and AI experimentation another time when I get deeper into conversation with you guys. Um, Actually, before I end this, I'm gonna talk just a little bit about what I call the conscious crypt. Um, that's CRYPT, conscious crypt. So, you might have asked yourself this before: what are ghosts? Um, well, ghosts are the essence of this body, this avatar. When we die, that soul it ejects itself from the body. And I'm not going to talk about uh, reincarnation because that's something completely different. But once the soul gets ejected from the body, it is redirected to a storage. And that might come out as a shocker for you guys. But this storage has everybody who has ever lived, is living, and will live, because time it flows differently on Earth than it does on a cosmic plane. So these ghosts, um, they're put into storage, and you can access that storage to communicate with ghosts. And I call it a storage because, like a USB, you store information in a USB. That's exactly how this conscious crypt works. You're putting a consciousness of an experience, a human experience, into this USB, and you can access it whenever you want. So when I say that ghosts our information or data about our human experience. um, I am literally saying that everything that we experienced, whether it be in this lifetime or our previous lifetime or how many lifetimes we've lived or will live, can be accessed um, this way. And a lot of times when people remember that they had a previous lifetime, it's because they're constantly accessing this conscious crypt of themselves. Um, and a lot of the time, I've met a couple people that remember their previous lifetimes. Like they didn't have to do the work; they just remember. And I sense their energy, and I sense this type of mediumship, what we call mediumship. Um, a medium is basically a person who can channel between this world and that storage, that conscious crypt. And that's what I sense from them for those people who can remember their previous lifetimes. Just automatically, they are natural mediums. Most of them, they don't practice mediumship. They that's just their natural gift. um, and I was gonna talk a little bit more about the conscious script and what other uses it has, but I'll just leave it at that for now. And we'll actually, I've decided that we'll talk about past lives, afterlife, reincarnation, and celestial contracts. Probably in this next video. But if you prefer for me to do one subject at a time instead of mashing it all together because I tend to get tangled sometimes, just let me know and comment down. Tell me to slow my roll, take one subject at a time, and if not, just I'll just keep doing what I've been doing, kind of mashing up different subjects, a little bit here, a little bit there. But for now, just comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you get my videos when I post them. And all of you, take care. All right. See you next time.